All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sasquatch Trail Runners podcast. My name is Kim Levinsky, owner and race director for Sasquatch Trail Runners. We put on trail parties in northern New Jersey and the Hudson Highlands of New York. Our mission is to welcome all peoples, paces, and ages to our events. And tonight, I am joined by two very good friends, Ryan and Alex Thorpe. Welcome to the podcast, you two.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Hi, Kim.
So tonight's title for the podcast is called Till Aid Station Do Us Part, chatting with the Thorpes about family crewing family. So I had to, a little background, I had to twist Alex's arm at least. I think Ryan was more willing to do it, but I had to twist Alex's arm to come on and do the podcast. But I appreciate you obliging and coming on to share your stories.
Anything for you, Kim.
Well, it was just so we'll give background too. So I went out to Western States 100 with you guys to crew our friend Jessica Simeo, and her husband is out there. And one of our conversations at the dinner table after Western was all over was talking about the dynamics of family crewing family. And we got into some really fun discussions. And that's where I was like, oh, we should sit down and record an episode because you guys have so much experience over the last, I don't even know how many years that you've been crewing each other.
Since 2013 or 14, so it's over a decade now.
Yeah.
It's over a decade. And you shared some really fun stories that night, which I'm hoping they'll be repeated in this podcast. So
I'm sure they'll come up.
If there's anything that doesn't come up organically, just prompt us and
I will prompt.
We'll spit them out on command.
I will. All right. Well, I think a good place to start is just an intro. So if you both could maybe share a little bit about yourselves. You don't have to give the whole like play-by-play, second by second of your running journey, but kind of how you got into running, and then we can go from there.
Me start? Okay. I got into running because of Alex's family. I had sort of a sporty background. I played ultimate frisbee for a while. But then I aged out of, college sports, and Alex's family all took up running 5Ks on holidays and that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going to be one of those families. And so, I did the whole 5K, 10K, half marathon, and then, ultramarathon as one does. So it's, whatever complaints Alex has about my running, I always make sure to remind her that it's her family's fault.
That's right.
So I was never really a runner until later too. I'm a ballerina. I own a dance studio. But then, I don't even really know how it all began. We started doing a lot of just like holiday runs. And then later I always joke like, I kept running to kind of keep up with Ryan, and we'd go on run dates and stuff before Emily was born. And like, that's how we were like spend all our time together. And if I wanted to see him, I had to be on the trails with him a little bit.
So when do you think, what was the first opportunity that either one of you had to crew the other person?
Probably my first ultra, right? So Wildcat Ridge Rump 50 miler, which no longer exists, but it was a 10-mile loop. So it was like a natural choice for a first ultra. And Alex and my mom and your mom,
both my parents are there, and I came late because I was working.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had the whole family crew for my inaugural event.
That one was easy because it was just like one spot, but then I actually did go out and do the last loop with you because you were feeling a little sad.
Alex did a last minute sign up for the 10 miler and just happened to go the same pace as me.
Little pacing action there.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that event. I've only heard good things about it. It's too bad it's not around anymore. I don't even think there's any races over at Wildcat.
Mm-hmm.
Very rugged area of Jersey.
Yeah, it was rugged.
So, like we were saying before the podcast, there's a lot of newbies that come around Sasquatch and kind of start their running journey with the squad. So I think a good thing for us to cover is maybe just a baseline of what is crewing And then what does family crewing family mean for you guys? So, a little intro, if you could give some background on what exactly is ultramarathon crewing, and then we can jump into the dynamics that you guys have.
So crewing is like making sure Ryan or your runner has everything that they need to kind of get through the race. And Ryan's really good at getting me like lists and stuff and letting me know what he wants, but then kind of having it all laid out ready for him to go. Knowing what's at the aid station that he could get, knowing how long to the next aid station. So, like, I'll see you again in 5 miles or whatever it is, or I'll see you again in 10 hours, depending on the course, that kind of thing. And just kind of, there comes a point in an ultra where his brain function is not as great anymore. So I kind of have to make sure he's getting everything that he needs then. And he's going to forget about it himself. So, but a lot of planning and organizing goes into that. And then obviously like crewing family, I think it's like, it's different crewing a friend than like a family of someone you like really love. It's all, I mean, like we crewed Jess together and I love her and I don't want to see her suffer either, but it's also different when it's like, Ryan and I have witnessed every step he's taken to like get to that goal. And if he's suffering or he's not going exactly how it plans, it's like hits a little differently for like when it's your family and someone you really are in love with. So that's kind of what I would say.
I think one thing I want to add to that is a more subtle responsibility of a crew is to prevent the little problems that pop up in a race from turning into big problems. So Alex is really good about, like, I'll say, oh, I've got, maybe a blister or some chafing or something. And she's like, you should take care of that. And I'm like, no, it's going to take too much time. I don't want to do it. And she's always the voice of reason who's like, no, take a second and fix this problem right now. Or like, I don't know, I'm a little dehydrated. Well, then stop and drink some water for a second. And, the things that should probably sound obvious, but when you're 20 hours in a race, you get, your mind gets lazy and a crew is there to sort of prod you to make smart choices that'll get you through the race. And sometimes it's like the emotional choices too. Like I'm just not feeling it, and the crew can just be there to get you into a better headspace and, prevent you from spiraling.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's a huge part of crewing is you're essentially like acting as your runner's brain a lot of times, doing things for them and helping them get through tough moments when they might not be thinking very clearly. And I didn't mention, this slipped my mind. I didn't mention, it's a huge detail. You guys crewed me many times, and especially with the New York Long Path FKT. So I have witnessed firsthand, I've benefited from both of their crewing and some pacing. And Alex is like MVP crew, like the best, the best there is. And I've experienced it firsthand.
Well, it does also make a difference too, because you were very like specific with what you wanted. And like, that's always so helpful to a crew. Like you had this checklist. So it was like, well, yeah, I'm going to read this checklist for you every morning before you begin. Make sure you have everything that you wanted to do. So like I can be a good crew if you like give me the tools to do it. So like, I think both of you are actually pretty easy to crew. Because we spend the time going over like everything you need and I can like anticipate what's going on. So, or what you're going to need.
Totally. Awesome. I'm very excited for this question. So, is there a distinction between crew Alex and partner Alex on race day?
You want my version of
Sure.
yeah. So, so the thing that immediately came to both of our minds, well, first of all, the short answer is yes. There is definitely a difference between crew Alex and partner Alex. Because partner Alex, doesn't want to see me suffer, as any loved one does. But crew Alex is mission oriented and is there to help me achieve the goals that we discussed before the race. So the first example of that we both immediately thought of was I was running Vermont 100 back in 2017, and I had set an ambitious time goal for myself. I wanted to finish it in under 20 hours, which is really fast for me. Um, and Alex was crewing for me all day and then paced me for the last, I think, 24 miles or something like that. And I had been moving well, but I was starting to develop this nagging pain in the back of my knee, and I wasn't really sure what it was. And it got so bad that I was like whimpering with every step on
Every step.
every
Oh,
step that my
no.
right leg took.
Whimper.
And,
Oh.
and partner Alex was sort of dying inside hearing me go through this much pain. But crew pacer Alex, I think, had the perfect approach to it. She turned to me and she said, "I'm only going to ask you this once. How badly do you want to go sub 20? Because like we can do it, and I will push you at the pace that you need to go to hit that. But I don't want you to suffer this badly if you don't want to do it." And I said, no, I still really want to do it. And true to her word, she did not ask me again, despite I'm sure my noises didn't get any better over the following miles. But Alex kind of put her head down and led us through the dark. And I finished in 19 hours and 55 minutes,
Wow.
moaning almost every step
Yeah.
of the final 20 miles. So, yeah, mission oriented. And then I think after the race is when we got to sort of download a little bit. And she's like, "I was so sad listening to you."
It was horrible.
I was going to say, what was that like for you, Alex?
Oh my gosh, it was so painful because I was like, I'm killing him, trying to get him to this. But I forget exactly how long we were going before I turned and I was like, I'm going to just give him this out. And I know like he wants this. And it was his kind of push goal. And we were like right at it. So I know he could do it. And I was so proud of him for like being there and getting it. So it took me a little while to like get to that point to say like, we don't have to do this. Like, we don't have to.
Yeah.
When he was like, no, I want to. Part of me is kind of like, damn it. Yeah, just like take it easy. But I was like, all right, like, let's go. And then I kind of just like really pushed him into the end. And it was very difficult. But I mean, now it's worth it.
It's a cool story.
Yeah, sub 20. He finished Vermont in one day.
Calendar day.
Like, because it started out.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. So
love that story. Yeah, that's awesome. I do want to prompt you on one other story that I remember you sharing. I think it was at Grindstone, perhaps.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that one?
Yeah. So this was a grindstone that he didn't want to run. We were supposed to go and he was going to do Fat Dog, but that got canceled due to wildfires. And he still needed his hard rock and Western qualifiers. So we as we were out there, because we had already been in Canada and when it got canceled. So while we were there, he registered for Grindstone. It was your 4th year?
Something like that.
In a row, I think, doing it. Yeah. So he was not very excited about it. And
I had kind of sworn it off for a while.
Yeah.
But just ended up getting sucked back into it anyway.
He needed it. So it was just the two of us going down. He didn't have anybody else. So I didn't have a great opportunity to pace him. So he came in, I think it was mile 80, and it was the worst I had ever seen him in my life. He was he just got to me. He's on my shoulder bawling, and he is not a big crier, and he's crying. He's like, it hurts so bad and I don't want to do it. And I'm like, he was so far ahead of cutoffs. I'm like, you could just walk and you're still you need to do this. This is your qualifier. This is your one chance. If you don't do it, I think that's when Western tickets restarted at 0.
Oh, yeah.
So
I would have lost all my tickets in the lottery.
So it was you can't, you just can't. So I again, he's like crying on my shoulder. I'm like, you got this. I'm like, I'm going to get to the next aid station and park, and I'm going to run back on the trail till I can meet you. Like, just like trying to like entice him any way I could. He's crying on my shoulder, send him out. And everybody around is like suddenly cheering. And when he's gone, he's like, they're like, good job getting him back out there. And I'm like, ah! And I guess you thought,
I didn't realize just how loudly I must have been sobbing on her shoulders. I kind of like picked my head up and looked around, and no one was making eye contact with me. So I was like, all right, I think I held it together pretty well there. And, I don't think anyone noticed how distraught I felt. Like, externally, I must not have been showing it that well. And then I started to walk, and everyone in the aid station started clapping for me. I was like, oh, I legitimately made a scene. And I am now a pity case.
Listen, it's happened to the best of us.
Yep.
Sobbing in aid stations.
Yep.
Well, that prompts another question I have. Are these conversations that you guys have before the race in terms of like, are you going over race goals? Are you talking about like, this is how I think it's helpful to talk? I think now you've probably, you've been with each other so long and crewed so many races, you might not need that as much. Was that something you did from the beginning, or was it something you learned along the way?
First couple of races, I don't think I really went in with a time goal. It was just
you always gave us sheets, because even like that first grindstone, we had pace charts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it might have been just like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always try to give Alex some sort of a pace chart, or maybe a couple of different paces. Even if they're not exactly A, B, and C goals, it's just like, here are the times that I might possibly be at these aid stations, because I do think it's helpful for a crew to have a rough estimate of when to go places.
Totally.
And sometimes they've been way off. I think I've gotten better about it in more recent years. But yeah, when I first started running the 100 milers, I think I usually had a good idea of what my goal paces were. And it would be like, here's what I think I might be able to do on a good day, and here's a more reasonable goal that I'd like to at least make sure I hit. These days, I think it's more just like, I want to have a good time on the trails.
Yeah.
And the time goals are secondary. I still make a pace sheet so that Alex knows when to be at the aid stations.
And now I guess we don't really, because we've been doing this for a while, and he's my husband and I know what he wants. We don't really have to have so much the conversations. Like, I already kind of know, like, this is for this qualifier. With Hard Rock, it was like, just like the race he's been dreaming of since he found out about 100 milers, so like, I kind of already know what his goals are. But we do sit down before every race and have like a big, like, this is everything I need. This is kind of my plan, my goal. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think just from crewing a number of people, like, the more organized the runner is, the more enjoyable the experience is for everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Because everybody's exhausted. I mean, crew is arguably more tired than the runner in some respects. And, they're losing brain power as well at 3 a.m. Like, you don't want to spend time or waste time looking for something that could have been, easily organized ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Ryan is really good. Like, he definitely like lays everything out, has things really organized. And then kind of, once he kind of gets everything how he wants it, he shows me, and I'll be like, well, I'm going to put this here because then I know it's like part of this thing. So he lets me kind of like make it my own. So like, I know it's easy to access and work.
Yeah.
So
I always figure once the race starts, it's up to Alex how she wants things to flow.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, let's jump into your little offspring, Emily. The wonderful bundle of joy, right? I had the privilege of crewing with her at Western States. We had some good times drawing animals and diners and hiking out to aid stations. It was really fun. So
she loves you, Kim.
Oh, we're besties. Yeah, I just have a way with children.
You say that, but you really actually do. She's obsessed with you.
I had a lot of fun with her. It was really fun.
If you can
Uh,
handle cranky ultra runners, you can handle a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
that's very true. And Emily was there through the whole long path. She wasn't out of the womb,
Yeah,
Yep.
she
but
was in the belly.
she was there. So she was definitely youngest crew member on the long path team. Can you guys talk about how has becoming parents changed the way you maybe approach training, racing, and crewing? Has that how has Emily made an impact on all these things, or is it just like life goes on and we're still doing what we're doing?
A
There's
lot of change.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
been some pretty massive changes to
Yeah.
everything. It everything requires a lot more planning now, because there is, another very small, very I don't want to say demanding, but she's a human being who um, needs a lot provided for her
And
as
she's pretty
Mhm.
demanding.
as 2-year-olds. Um, so Alex works most weekends, at least during the school year when the ballet school is fully up and running. So it used to be that Saturday would always be my long run day, and I could roll out of bed at 10 a.m. if I wanted to and have a leisurely breakfast and hit the trails at noon and still get a 6-hour run in and be done before Alex got home.
Yeah.
Um, and these days, if Alex needs to leave for work at 9 or 10 in the morning, that means I have to be done with my long run by then. So long run days have been starting more frequently at 3 or 4 in the morning now. A lot of starting by headlamp kind of mornings,
Mhm.
and or they just don't happen at all because it's hard to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning every Saturday.
Totally.
So the other big change is I do a lot of training, unfortunately, on the treadmill.
Mm.
I bought myself a nice incline treadmill that I keep in the garage, and when Emily goes down for her 2-hour nap, which thankfully is pretty reliable, I can hop on there and crank out a couple thousand feet of vertical gain. And
Yes.
it's not a 20-mile long run on the trails, but it's training volume, and I just try to be consistent about making sure I get something in on the weekends.
We also have a jogging stroller, and she's pretty
Yeah.
good at napping in that when we go
Yep.
out. Sometimes when I don't, I'm like, no, it's not nap time. It's 2 hours before. But it will just lull her right out.
Mhm.
So
And a backpack carrier, so we have multiple ways of bringing her along for some miles, and it's really good resistance training. If you can hike up Mount Tammany with a 30-pound baby on your back, you're in pretty good shape to hike up just about any mountain without the baby.
Totally. You guys were out hiking with her very quickly, right? I remember seeing pictures and stuff that
Mhm.
she was in the
yeah,
carrier, like, let's go.
within that first month, I
About
think we
I
got
think
her on
about
the
a month.
trails. I had a C-section, so my recovery was like a little longer than what I wanted. Um, Otherwise, maybe would have been out earlier. But yeah, it was like as soon as I felt good, it's like, got to bring her outside, got to show her our tiny little local trail.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I was going to add to Ryan, it was in the beginning, especially, it was really hard because like I know he has these races that he's like training for and he needs to train for. And then it was like hard rock that he got into before Emily turned 1. And
When she was like 3 months old.
yeah, so like that he's been dreaming of getting into hard rock, for since he started 100 milers basically. So I know how important it is to him, but then his time training takes him away from like me and her. So it was definitely like a learning curve in the beginning. And then when you're postpartum and all hormonal, it was like there were some really hard times, but I think we have found like a pretty good rhythm, and he gets a lot of his running done like at work and
A lot of,
like
like,
before he comes home
lunch
even,
break
so it kind
runs
of
or-
all like melds into like his work day, which is easier. So he could still be home and we can have dinner together before she goes to bed and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely like a learning curve and figuring out how to manage all that. So
Oh, I can only imagine. Emily has quite a resume already with Hard Rock, Western
Western States.
States,
Yeah.
and she met Courtney Dauwalter, right?
Yes. Yep. She has a T-shirt signed by Courtney Dauwalter. So,
She
Mhm.
does.
yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I told her to, lower her expectations for future races because we really started on a high note, and I can't sustain that.
You guys really did. You went out the gates pretty hard with
Yeah.
Emily. So, I'm curious, what does race day look like now with Emily in the mix? I got to see firsthand a little bit at Western States, but curious if you want to share a little bit on how, having a kiddo tagging along for crewing and adventures. What does that look like?
It is much harder, and it's thankfully all of the races we've done so far we've had friends who are there. So, because I guess before she's only really crewed Manitous and Hard Rock, right? I guess we came out to like watch him do Beacon, but that he can kind of crew himself because he just comes back to his car whenever he
Right.
needs to after his lap. Um, but but we were there to like cheer him when she was pretty tiny. But like Hard Rock, we had Jess Sameo, who you mentioned, who we went to Western with, and then Alex and Virginia Galasso were there, and we kind of at our pre-race like meeting to kind of talk about Ryan's goals and what he wanted. It was also like I want to be able to be there for Ryan. So everyone in the crew kind of knew that like they would grab Emily when Ryan came into the aid station. So like I could kind of experience Hard Rock with him too, and not just
Totally.
like be Emily's crew. So
Yeah.
we Virginia and I had this like funny side text going where you're talking crew stuff. She's like, I don't know. Do you think Ryan's going to be offended that I'm only there for Emily? And um, so, we rely heavily on friends at Hard Rock. There was a over the night aid station where she was sleeping, and Virginia just stayed back at the room with her. And it was Alex and I going out, and then the Alex and Jess switched pacers. So Jess and I coming back, but like yeah, we would not have been able to make it to that aid station with Emily in the car because it was one of the dirt roads and wildness. It would have been terrible
Yeah.
in the morning. I think something
Yeah.
like that. It just wouldn't have worked. So, but otherwise too, it's like if I don't have that, it's like we kind of have to now skip the night stations, and he has to have a drop bag or something, because it's just not really feasible with a 1-2-year-old. So
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll add this just from observing that you also are like you're packing for the ultra, but you're also packing for Emily. And like when we went out to crew Ryan doing the 100 in the Catskills, I mean, I was only there for a little bit, but I was like, oh my God, like Alex is superwoman because like we would get to a trailhead aid station and all of a sudden it was transformed into like this little daycare center with the toys and the books and the blankets and I was just thinking about like the logistics of having to think through like what am I going to need not only for Ryan and crewing but then also for Emily as well for
Yes.
the weekend.
Yes. And Emily probably she needs more stuff than what Ryan needs to, because just to like, keep her distracted and entertained and diapers and everything. Yeah, it's a lot to manage. But thankfully, like we have had a lot of friends and help. I've had a lot of help so I
Yeah.
can be able to crew him. We have our first race coming up where it's just us. So I'm a little nervous for that one, but I think he's kind of going into it where he's gonna kind of almost be supportive of himself, and then if I can get out to something, it'll just be like an extra bonus kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what race is that?
Ultra Tour Monte Rosa out in Switzerland.
Is that like 700 miles or how far are we talking now?
It's just 100 miles,
Just 100.
which is a classic ultra runner thing to say.
Just 100.
Just 100 miles. It's a tough one. It's got, I think, 37,000 feet of elevation gain.
Oh, wow.
But it's
Yeah.
through the Swiss Alps, so it's a pretty place to die. Um, but all the aid stations there are like 4 hours apart because you have to drive around the Monte Rosa mountain to get to them. So I was like, you know what, just go for some nice hikes and find cafes and things like that to hang out in. And
It also has the added another country where I don't speak the language or like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
we might try to like scope out before the race and see if there's one that I can like easily get to without like too much, me and just Emily in a foreign country kind of thing. But
yeah,
we'll see.
the good thing about that one is the very first major aid station is Zermatt, which is such a touristy town that
Okay.
you can get by without speaking any other languages.
Yeah.
So
So we'll probably
we're
go
gonna
there.
we're gonna try to do that one.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
We'll see if anything else happens. But probably just be a lot of me video calling Alex from the trail since reception tends to be pretty good out in the Alps.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
One more kid related question until we bounce back to a little bit more of the crewing dynamics. Um, Not sure where this question will go, but has having a kid shifted your why for running or crewing? And when I came up with this question, I was just thinking, as a runner, I'm wondering if like motivation has changed at all in terms of like um drive or anything with having Emily in the picture when you're out there for so long or really hard events. And then same thing for Alex on the crewing side. Just curious if that dynamic has changed anything.
Yeah. So for the running aspect of it, first it is really motivating to think like when Alex and Emily are both at a race, it's fun to think like, oh, in just a couple miles, I'll get to give them both a hug and a kiss. And Emily's usually pretty excited to see me if she's not, asleep in the car or something. But I'm still excited to peek in and see her, and I miss those two when I'm out in the wilderness. So it's a good incentive to push to the next aid station. But the sort of bigger picture why is has also changed a little bit because I think ultra running can be kind of selfish. Like you go out there because you want to enjoy the wilderness or you want to know what it's like to run 100 miles. And those are still major motivations for me. But I also hope that when Emily gets a little bit older and starts to understand what it is that we're doing out there, that she understands that like you can do really difficult things and push through adversity. And I don't know, I hope that gives her confidence to tackle whatever whatever it is that she sets her mind to later in life. So we'll see. Or maybe she'll think it's dumb, but that's fine too. I mean, most kids probably think what their parents do is dumb. So, but that'll be a conversation for a later date.
I love that. Yeah. Something I saw at the Long Path premiere, it was cool to have conversations with crew members who had their kids and their family come to watch the movie because a lot of times, the kids are obviously not on trail. They're not seeing what mom or dad is doing. And I was so moved to hear, friends of mine saying like when they got home, their kids were like, "Wow, mom, you're like a badass. Like I had no idea that's what you did
Yeah.
out there." So I'm just imagining like it's gonna be so cool for Emily to grow up and see you guys doing these crazy things and going all around the world literally. I think it's a really, really cool thing for Emily.
Yeah, I do think like most of our vacations now are kind of like around races is just what it works out because he has like Hard Rock. We wound up spending a week out in the San Juans, and now we're going to be in the Alps. And it's it, it the running brings us to such cool places too that it's like these are the places that we would want to go anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really like limiting for us, but yeah, to be able to like do that with Emily and kind of just like introduce her to like everything we've done together is really cool. And for me, like on the crew side, it does, even when she was tiny. I guess she was like 11 months when Ryan did Hard Rock, but like as he's coming in, I'm like, oh my gosh, here's Daddy, like he's coming. And she doesn't really know anything at that point, but just like getting her to be like excited and laugh at it is really fun. And when we found out he was doing Hard Rock, I was like in tears. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the first race Emily's going to be at to see you finish. And we've always talked about like Ryan carrying our child across the finish.
Yes.
When she gets to do is Hard Rock and Kiss the Rock. It was like, so emotional. And just, it's a huge part of our lives. So now introducing Emily into that is like really meaningful and kind of exciting.
Yeah. The thought of carrying her through the finisher shoot at Hard Rock got me through a lot of the nighttime.
Oh yeah.
Just like I never thought about quitting because it's Hard Rock. You gotta finish Hard Rock. But when you start to lose motivation, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Tomorrow at some point I get to pick up my little sleepy 11-month-old and carry her to the rock and we'll both kiss it together. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's some serious trail magic right there.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe the coolest moment of my running career.
And we do have a video of it, and you can hear Dale, the race director, going, that Hard Rocks together stays together. And it's just like, I don't know. I was just watching it again the other day, and I was like, oh.
I get chills watching it.
Yeah.
Love that.
I was too tired to feel all the feelings right at that moment, so it's nice to have the video to look back on.
Yeah.
Feel them retroactively.
Yeah.
Yes. Love that. The Hard Rock magic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bounce back. We got a few more questions. And if the stories you told already are, answer this question, that's cool. We can go to the next one. But really tough moment during a race when your crew dynamic was really tested. I think the few stories you've told already were fantastic, but if you have more you want to pop in.
We got a story for you.
Okay. You guys are ready.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for sending us the questions because my nervous needed to plan it out. But it was your first grindstone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his first grindstone. I guess it was your first real big trail 100.
First mountain 100, I would say, because I had done New Jersey Ultra Fest and Vermont, which I would say are more like hilly races. Grindstone is a different beast.
So I with the last 20-ish miles is what I used to pace you. I can't remember, but I was with him the last 20 miles and he was suffering. It was getting difficult, and I was trying all sorts of different things. I was singing songs. I was like talking about our day. His mom was out there crewing with me, and just telling stories, just like all sorts of stuff. But I guess
can I just interrupt real quick to say that so many of our stories start with it was mile 80 and Ryan was really suffering.
80 was like sour spot for a really long time.
I think if there was an 80-mile distance, I would have been elite at it. But because they make these things 20 miles longer, I fall apart.
Yes.
I was emotionally suffering because at this particular grindstone, a hurricane had parked itself right over the course. Oh. And we were just getting doused with water for the entire time we were out there. I think it was like 30 hours straight of rain from the start of the race through the...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm trying my best. I'm singing, I'm like cheering, I'm doing all this stuff, and I don't know. I was singing one song and he turns to me and he's like, I don't know what you're saying to me, Alex. And everything was like short and curt, and this is the one he was also hallucinating really bad. He kept on hallucinating the sign that pointed to a turn, which meant you get to go downhill. And we were on, it wasn't like super steep, but it was just like a heinously long climb. Rocky. And he's like, I see the sign. And I'm like, he was leading. So I'm like peering behind him. I'm like, I don't see it. And you get really upset every time. It was just like,
it was always like a little patch of lichen on a tree or something.
And it got to the point where anything I said, he was just snapping back at me. And I was like, do you want me to be quiet because I don't know what to do. And I at one point I was like, he's gonna divorce me at the end of this race. Like this is the end of our marriage because he was.
Over.
I could not say anything without like a slap back. But
not a physical slap.
No. Yeah,
let's clear that up.
no, just a curt little. So I think we finished. He did good. And then afterwards, I was like, like we did have the conversation. I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have me pace you because like you can be so mean to me, and like a friend, I don't know if you would treat like a friend or someone like that, like you'd have a little more like, this isn't someone.
Yeah, like maybe we know each other too well.
Yeah,
right.
I'm a little too familiar.
And then since then, he's definitely shifted. I've also tried to like, I know it's not like how he actually feels about me. I know he doesn't really want to divorce me, but like in that moment, it was really hard. But now I kind of know like this is the mileage and the suffering talking, and not Ryan at all. But yeah, that was definitely that was early on.
That was an all-time race low point.
Yeah.
Like, I was just sick of the race. I was angry at the circumstances, but I couldn't yell at the circumstances. I could yell at Alex for singing a song that I didn't know.
I'm like, I'm just trying to be playful.
So I try to be more mindful of the fact that my pacers and my crew are doing me a huge favor by being there.
Yeah.
And, there's really aren't too many reasons why you should ever get mad at people that are helping you out in a race. So you got to be thankful for the people that are there for you.
I believe even that year, like once it was over, you were really appreciative and thanking me for everything. It was just kind of like in the moment, it was not there, but he definitely is like, since then, he's worked on, how he talks to me during a run.
And Alex has worked on singing better songs.
I make sure he knows them, or I really know the words, because I think I like hummed a word because I didn't know exactly what it was, and that just sent him over the edge.
Either sing it or don't sing it.
Oh man, I have been on both ends of that, both as a runner upset and a pacer receiving, and it's not fun really in either position.
No.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes as a runner you have to show restraint. Like if your pacer is telling dad jokes and you really don't want to hear those dad jokes.
I'm not sure what you could possibly be referring to, so we should probably not delve into that.
Moving on. All right, next up, and you've kind of talked through this. It sounds like it's really just communication. But what are some strategies you've developed for communicating during high stress or emotional moments? So I'm curious, like, if this comes up during a race now, where maybe Ryan, you're struggling, are you able to communicate that with Alex, or is it more like Alex, you're just really in sync and can intuitively sense what's going on?
I definitely, as we do this more, like I know now when it's like the race and the stress and his tiredness talking and not him. So like I'm definitely better, but Ryan really has done a good job. Like we haven't really had an issue like that at all since that first grindstone. He's been much better about talking, and we do talk beforehand, and like I said, he's like thanking me before we do it, thanking me afterwards. Like, I think that was kind of the breaking point. And then
I've definitely made a concerted effort to keep myself in a more positive headspace, at least when I'm around crew and aid station volunteers, because they don't need to hear it from me. Like they know that everyone's suffering out there, and I'm sort of I can recognize when I get into those mental low points, and I don't know. I wouldn't say that I necessarily dig myself out of them any better, because races are still hard, but I can at least like say, all right, I know why I'm feeling bad right now, because like, I don't know, my feet hurt, or it's been raining all day, or I'm low on food.
You know what? I just now when you said this, I think you're also good at, like, that was like, I think your fourth 100 miler. And I don't think he was even as like aware, like I'm in a low, like, like where now you come in, you can say like, I'm really struggling. I'm in like a dark low. And then I know like I can handle the situation a little bit differently too. Like, I feel like you know a little better. And you tell me when you're like, this is bad right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be silly and goofy and pissing you off more. You know?
I guess, yeah, that's a good point. Like being able to know like when, as the crew, I guess, when can you goof off with your runner? When can you tell a dad joke, for example? Or when do you just need to like be very matter of fact, like what do you need right now?
Or like supportive, like I know this sucks, like kind of, you know, just one foot in front of the other kind of thing. So
yeah. One thing I this was just a quiet observation I had at Western States. So remember the award ceremony that was just really difficult for everybody?
Yeah. How could we forget?
So like, you know, set the stage is Western States is ended, and you know, we were golden hour finish with Jess, so out there nearly 30 hours, and then they do an award ceremony immediately following, except there's so much waiting, and you're waiting in this field with just the sun beating down on you, and it was so hot. So one thing I thought was so cool was just like the communication that you guys have with each other. And this wasn't even like, you know, Alex wasn't crewing Ryan, but Ryan had just finished pacing Jess overnight. I don't know how many miles it was. 30, 40?
36 miles or something like that.
36 miles through the night at Western States.
And then I paced her. So Ryan was on Emily duty when he couldn't even like rest after that is where, so like, yeah.
Yes.
On, but yeah.
Yes. No, that's an important detail because there wasn't any resting after his pacing. And the same for you. You were crewing and then you jumped into pacing. So anyway, when we were at the field, I just remember, I don't even know what you had asked Ryan, but he just said like, I am so tired. I can't think. Please don't make me make a decision. And, you know, it's comical, but also like just to have that open line of communication where you can just say like, I literally cannot think, instead of like exploding or like, you know, being a passive aggressive or something. And I just thought like, that's so cool that they are able to communicate in that way.
Yeah. That's something that I learned about myself after a couple of race finishes, because, you know, you finish a 100-mile race and everyone's like, what do you want to eat? Like, where do you want to go now? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys need to make decisions for me. Find me some food and a place to take a shower. And
yes.
Any more questions?
I love that. All right, next one. Do you have any routines, code words, inside jokes that help keep things light or grounded on race day other than singing?
We don't really. Sometimes I guess it does come up like the jokes like, oh, at least you won't divorce me or something like that. Like you know, but,
yeah, at least it's not grindstone.
Yeah. But we don't really. I guess we were trying to think about this before, and the only real routine is like we always give each other a kiss like before he heads back out. Yeah. But other than that, not really.
Yeah. Just you know, general goofing off if the mood calls for it.
Yeah.
Totally. All right. Next one, I'm sure there's some fun answers for this. What's one crewing mistake you made early on that you laugh about now but wouldn't want to repeat? Or has it been perfect, smooth sailing since day one?
No.
I will say Alex picked up on crewing really, really well, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's a laundry list of.
Well, I would say I'm pretty organized, and I like organizing, and so it kind of like you definitely have to be organized to do it and to keep track of everything that's going on. But I feel like all these stories come back to grindstone.
A lot of our early trail races were there because it's the closest Western States, or it was anyway, the closest Western States in hard rock qualifier.
Yeah.
So that was the race that I went and did a lot when I was first starting to get into both of these races. And then we branched out and started traveling to more races. But yeah, it's another grindstone story.
Yeah.
Buckle up, listeners.
So it was, like Ryan had told you, it was his first grindstone. It was pouring rain. And Ryan had given us his pace sheet. And we got, it was with his mom, and I think we had my dad's truck, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we had my dad's truck with like everything in the back, and just so you could kind of like spread everything out. And we got to this aid station, and we're like, Ryan's mom Val and I are like soaking wet. And we have an hour before he says he's coming in, and we're like, okay, like we need to dry off our clothes. We both are like pulling off our pants, have them like laying out on the dashboard with the defrosters going, because it was pretty chilly too. It was like,
yeah, this was overnight.
Yeah.
It was a 6 p.m. start, so this was like after midnight, like 2 a.m. maybe.
Yeah. And we're like, and let's just like close our eyes. We have an hour, so I forget. We set an alarm for like a little bit before, and not 10 minutes later, probably after we close our eyes, thankfully the race goes right by the road. Like he runs down the road and he just like, I hear rat-a-tat-tat on the door, on the window, and there's Ryan an hour before we're expecting him. And I open the door, I'm like, I don't have pants on! Like, so I'm like, go run to the aid station. His mom and I are like quickly trying to get back into our soaking wet clothes, and like we had nothing laid out.
My mom's calling out, it's not what it looks like.
But like we had nothing set. Like I think you were doing tailwind at that time, so like, you know, we didn't do our 2 scoops of tailwind in the bottle, so we're like,
yeah,
ripping out the back. He's at the aid station. We're like, just eat whatever, and we're like throwing stuff together.
It was like a 2-minute delay, and they were frantically apologizing the entire time. They were like throwing clothes on and getting all the gear. And I was just kind of standing there chuckling, like, it's not a big deal.
But it did kind of. So I mean, for the rest of that race, we were like, oh my god, he was an hour ahead here. What if he's another hour ahead? And I mean, we were at the aid station like ready to go hours before he came in. But
Alex has never fully recovered from this. He's always the crew that's 2 hours early to an aid station.
But even if I'm not 2 hours early now, what I do like to do is like I get when we're leaving, as soon as he leaves,
yes,
one aid station, especially if it's quick. If it's going to be like, you know, if it's something like Hard Rock where I'm not seeing you for 6 hours, like I don't necessarily have to do it then. But if it's a like grindstone, it's pretty even, consistent. We see you a lot. So like there now, I will, as soon as he leaves, I'm going to make his new bottles of tailwind and put them in the cooler and have them chilling and ready to go. I'm going to like pull out like the next aid station bag and just like have it on top, like everything he needs. I'm going to go through the checklist. Like, oh, he says he maybe wants a sock change here. So the socks are in the bag, but I'm going to have the chair ready too. So like I know everything there. And then we put it together. Like we go on, travel to the next aid station and maybe sleep a little bit. I will tell you that race, we did not sleep a second longer. But yeah, it did kind of flip how we
totally
when we prepare, because we didn't want to be like scrambling at the end there. But yeah, that was.
I feel like it's important to appreciate the fact that our best example of Alex making a crewing mistake was being in the right place at the right time, but just asleep in the car. And my bottle was filled already. So like Alex has never missed an aid station in, I don't know, 1,500-mile races or however many you've crewed before.
Yeah.
So no real mistakes.
I have like at Manitou's, I've like just made it. I do the Dutchers.
Oh yeah.
The Dutchers and then back and then get to North South Lake. It's like
North South, yeah.
So I have like come running in kind of at the same time as him. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a fast turnaround, though.
Yeah. I wouldn't count that as a mistake if she missed it. I
Yeah.
would think that it was because I was so blazing fast.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I think the point you brought up about, learning to, or the preference, I guess, getting everything prepped at the end of the last age station. I feel like that's something all crew kind of learns
Yeah.
from, like, oh, it's a lot less stressful if you can get it prepped ahead of time, especially like the mixing of
Yeah.
sports drinks. It's just, it's easier just to do it all at once.
Yeah. And sometimes too, like, it's easier to remember too, like, because he's coming into that aid stage, and sometimes he'll be like, next time, can you have this for me?
Yeah.
So if you like wait until you do your 2-hour drive to the next spot and you're like, oh wait, what did he say he wanted?
Totally.
Like if you just like kind of prep it all like at that
Yep.
spot before you leave, or write it down and have it all ready, that's set us up for more success, I think.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, speaking of success, is there one crewing success that you're really proud of that you want to highlight? I'm sure it's a very long list, but is there one that stands out for you?
Is this the
Wildcat
Yeah.
100K? So this was the second time I came back to the Wildcat Ridge Romp, and I signed up for the 100K that year, and it was probably 95 degrees out and like full sun. We were just roasting, and it was like the New Jersey 95 degrees where it's also pretty humid. So like from lap 1, I was covered in sweat. I was just continuously heating up more and more during the day. And I came in, what was it, after mile 50 maybe? And I said I was gonna, or 40.
Yeah, no, it must have been 50 because I think it was the last lap where Elaine and Tom were there. Or was it 40? And I was
might
like,
have been
you gotta
40.
get to the next one.
Yeah, I think it was mile 40. I had 2 more 10-mile laps to go. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm pretty sure my brain is boiling in my skull. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, everyone else there were only a couple people in the 100K division. So basically everyone else had gone home. It's just like me on the trail by myself running loops.
And not because they finished, because they DNF, because it was so gross out.
Well, the shorter distances had all finished, and the longer distances had all either finished or dropped out.
Right.
So he's telling me he's done, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm just shoveling ice down his arm sleeves and into his head.
I'm like, I'm telling you I'm done. Like, what are you?
I'm like, okay, yeah, you can be done. So I talked to Rick, and they don't usually allow pacers, but the course sweeps are going to come after the next loop, and they're going to pace you. And it's Elaine and Tom, and you're going to have so much fun with them. So you just have to do it by yourself. And he's like, I'm quitting. I'm like, as I'm like shoving ice and I'm like, I'm also going to go out and meet you. There was like a spot that was kind of close to the road that I could go. I'm like, I'll meet you there with some ice too, so you won't. And I made him go.
When we were just talking about this, I was like, should we talk about the time you gaslit me into finishing Wildcat 100K?
I love that. I love the Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not the DNF you're looking for.
But he won because he was the only one who finished. So.
Oh yeah, Ryan.
I love a win by default.
That is a good story. That is definitely a win.
That was primo crew Alex. Like, knowing that I was so brutally uncomfortable, but still being like, yeah, you got ice on you. Your bottles are full of water. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Alex is really good with those like little subtle mind tricks and also like really good cooling strategies. Like I remember you brought the those big car wash sponges for long path, and that like was a game changer. I now do it at Sasquatch races. I bring a bunch of the sponges and you keep a bucket of ice water and you squeeze it on the runners. But that was incredible.
Yeah, I forget when we
that was a good day when you discovered that.
Just like squeeze them on your head. And, Yep.
Yes.
I run hot, so Alex has learned all the cooling strategies over the years.
So good. So good. Okay, we're going to skip the last question because you guys answered it a little bit. The last question was, "What's next on your race calendar?"
Mhm.
So let's end with this one. This is, I think, this is a really good question to end on. So, what advice would you give to couples or families who are thinking about crewing and racing together, especially with little kids?
So I think even before the kid thing, you have to be prepared to like see them suffer and suffer a lot. And like again, I love you so much and I saw you suffer like crazy in the long path, but then seeing Ryan go through that, it's just like it hits so differently.
Yeah.
For like your spouse, or I'm sure any other like maybe sibling or parent child kind of thing. Like
Right.
it is so hard sometimes to like watch the amount of suffering he can go through, um, and to like keep encouraging it. And obviously, if it was something where he was in danger, like then I'm going to make him stop. But short of like injury or bodily harm, like I know what his goals are, and I want him to like reach those goals more than what it hurts, really, so like you have to be prepared for that, like um like we discovered like his mother is great and supportive, but like she can't handle
Yeah.
watching him. She's like, oh no, let's put him in the car, can we keep him, I'm like you can't say that, you can't offer him the car, you like he wants it in the moment, but he doesn't really want it like if he steps away.
Mhm.
So like you just have to it's hard because you're watching someone you love like hurt, but like he put all the work to get there. We made sacrifices as a family to do it, um and I know more than the pain he's feeling now, he like wants to do it. So
Yeah.
it's like a hard balance to do. So I say anyone who's like thinking about doing it, you have to make sure you're you can handle seeing the suffering,
Mm.
because that's
Mhm.
like it's heartbreaking sometimes. Like I've cried when he's left. I've been like, oh my gosh, like, am I doing the right thing? But then when he finishes, it's always like, thank you for making me do that. And
Mm.
like I would have been really upset if I had given up there, kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
think that's the
She's never pushed me to the point where I've had like an injury at the end of a race, except for like a pulled muscle or blisters or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, so
yeah.
there's,
If it was something like serious or you were starting to pee blood or something like,
yeah.
then I would be like, no, like
Yeah. Yeah.
especially now with Emily, like, you have a child you have to come home to now. Like
Mhm.
there's definitely that. So I don't, there is a line which
Yeah.
he hasn't hit yet, but if he does, I will make him stop too. And I also
Mhm.
think that's important too. Like even if he would want to keep going, and I'm like no, I'm like pulling this plug. Like
Mhm.
this can't. I think kind of finding that balance. But yeah, be prepared because it's hard, but it is worth it. And I mean I love it. Like I love being at races. I love the community at races. I've met so many people. I met you. Um, like some of our best friends are running friends,
Yeah.
and just like going to support them coming to support Ryan. It's I love it. So I want to be able to do it, but sometimes it can be difficult.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've seen that as a race director just on the sidelines. An event like Wild Goose 100 where there's one central aid station and crews are there the whole time. It's interesting to watch different dynamics. A lot of times it is like mom or dad. It's tough for them to crew
Yeah.
their son or daughter out there.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine. And she's not 2 yet, but like I don't want to see her in pain, so I can imagine it would be the same thing. But yeah, it's hard. Fun still. I still want to do it.
More fun than
Yeah.
difficult. Is basically what we
Awesome.
shoot for in ultra running.
Yes, I love it. Well, this has been so much fun. The Thorpes, thank you so much for joining us here for Till Aid Station Do Us Part, the special episode of the Sasquatch podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
It
thanks
was,
for convincing me to do it.
I'm so glad. I
A lot more
know.
fun than I thought.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you said yes and came on. So cool. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Sasquatch Trail Runners podcast. If you want to learn more about us, you can go to our website, which is sasquattrailrunning.com, SASSQUAD trailrunning.com. And we're uh, super active on social media. Instagram, Facebook is at Sasquatch Trail Running. So until we see you again, keep